mine just a little more so you're on the edge of the table.
Gaenslens.
Alright, so for Gaenslens, what you do is, it's almost like the hip flexor stretch. And so you'd have them bend the knee and bring the knee all the way to the chest. All the way to the chest. Grab. Again, someone else dressed fancy for class, huh? Alright, grab your hands right knee. Right there. There you go. And so we're going to take this other one, and we're going to hang it off the table, and we're going to press down on it a little bit, okay? And so we've got one knee that's being flexed, or one hip that's being flexed, and one hip that's being extended. This is really stressing the SI joint. So if he had increased pain with this, do you have increased pain with this? So that's going to be a negative test for him. But someone that has low back pain, they come in complaining of low back pain, you do this test on them and their pain increases, that's a positive test, okay? And that's positive for SI joint dysfunction. Their increased pain is going to be in the back, right where their SI, does everyone know what the SI joint is?
Yes.
Keep using that if people don't know it.
Sacral
Sacroiliac joint. So your pelvis is a ring, and in the front it kind of comes all together, but in the back there's two joints, and those are your SI joints. There's a sacrum in between it and the back, and it gives a little bit of movement. Okay? So that's where they're going to get their pain, is in the SI joint. By flexing one knee and extending the other, they'll have pain in the low back right along those SI joints. Then you test each side and just make sure to see if it's bilateral or if it's just unilateral.
Well, you said if his pain increases, then that means...
Pain increase, that's a
It's
positive
test.
Positive test.
So you're just flexing and then...
Extending, yep. And so I'm just applying gentle pressure downwards to his leg that's hanging off the table, and the other one he's holding up there. Make sense?
Yep.
So that's Gaenslens.
Do you test both sides still?
Yep, I would test both sides. I always test both sides with everything.
But you don't have to do the clearing of the hips before that one. Okay.
So now I will have you lay on your stomach. So we're gonna go to spring test. Alright, just relax, hands down your sides. Okay. So spring test. That was testing the SI joint dysfunction. Spring test, we're actually gonna be checking the vertebrae. Okay. And so you'd have their complete back exposed. Okay. And with this one, all I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be palpating the spinous processes. Okay, does everyone know what the spinous process is of the vertebrae? And so I'm palpating for each one. And when I find one, all I'm doing is I'm applying an anterior pressure to that vertebrae, okay? So I'm applying an anterior pressure, okay? And I'm looking for essentially a spring. When I push down, that vertebrae will bounce back up with me, okay? And if I do that, then I go find the next one, and I push down on that. And then I go down to the next one, I push down on that. If you feel increased laxity, so if you push down and it doesn't come up with your thumb, or if you push down and it goes in real far, you don't feel like it's ever going to end, that's a positive sign. Okay?
What's a positive sign though?
A positive sign, so it's positive, or its implications are there's either a sprain to the anterior longitudinal ligament of the vertebrae, okay? Or it's completely ruptured, so it's either like grade 2 partially ruptured or grade 3 completely ruptured of the anterior longitudinal ligament. Now, most of you aren't really going to find this. You don't find this very often. It would have to be probably an acute case to get that ligament ruptured. So you guys are going to be sitting there and you're going to be like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. You'll feel the vertebrae push up against your thumb, okay? When you're pushing down, you'll feel it come back up with you, okay? So that's why I have you guys practice this, because that way you kind of get used to it. Then once you finally get in a clinical setting and you actually do it, then you'll know, okay, you know, it's coming up, that's negative. It's just like when we get to the knee, we'll be testing the ACL. You can do Lockman's 100 times, and you may not feel any laxity back. I just don't know if I'm doing this right. But that one time you get a positive sign, you're going to be like, I've been doing it right this whole time, and this is exactly what it feels like. Because you'll be sitting there, and you'll be like, yep, no laxity, and then you'll get a knee that's ACL deficient or has a torn ACL, and you'll be like, whoa. Like, you'll really be able to pull it out. So with this one, you guys may not think you're doing it right, but you're just pushing down on that spinous process, and it's coming back up with you. Okay? It doesn't take a lot of pressure, it just takes a little bit. You guys will feel it. I mean, you could feel it, couldn't you? And I wasn't pushing all that hard.
Nice.
Yep.